Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Deck Doctor. Now, I know it's been a long time since we have done one of these episodes. We kind of got a little bit backtracked on everything we had to catch up on. So I thought I would bring Deck Doctor back. And for those of you that are brand new to this series, basically you guys send in your deck list, whether they be fully competitive, whether they just be for fun, and then I will look over them, sometimes with another member of the team, provide some general feedback, make some edits to what we feel can help achieve your goal. Like if you particularly say to us, this is just for friend battles, 9 times out of 10, if you send us in a meta deck, we're going to understand that you are looking to play specifically a meta deck. So we're going to do the review, we'll go over the list, and then we'll kind of edit it. I've got 3 lists for you today. I will be doing it solo, and we're going to see how this video goes. So, we start off right here with Kevin's Invoked Eldlich deck. Now, Invoked Eldlich, in my opinion, is probably the best control deck of the format. I wouldn't really... I don't know if you would count Bird Up as a control deck. I'd probably count it more as a stun deck, because it's literally just, you can't play the game. But I think Eldlich really do have a insanely good power ceiling for being able to generally control. Now, their traps are incredible. They didn't get touched on the ban list. And then when you add in the Invoked engine to it themselves, as well, it gives them another layer. So we start off with Kevin's list. Diving straight into it, so please smash the like button, hit the notification button and subscribe. Every like that you provide to this type of video means that you want to see more of it, which means we'll continue to do Deck Doctor. So, on this particular list, of course, he's got triple Alistair the Invoker, 1 Apprentice Illusion for obviously Magician Souls, triple Ash Blossom, double Drow and Lockbird, double Eldlich the Golden Lord, triple Magician Souls, 1 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon, triple Cursed Eldland, 2 Forbidden Droplet. I've seen this quite a lot actually in meta decks. A lot of people are just playing 2. Double Invocation, triple Magical Meltdown, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Terraforming, triple Conquistador, triple Sanguine, triple Haquero, 1 Skill Drain, and double Torrential Tribute. I quite like the Torrential Tribute tech actually. I quite like that. And the Skill Drain's an interesting one, a very interesting one. I'll get on that in a minute. So for the side deck, I'm just going to touch on it because this all depends on the type of locals you'll go into. But he's got triple Lancia, triple Crow, triple Nibiru, double Cosmic, triple Dark Ruler No More, and a single Harpy's Feather Duster. Then on the extra, of course, we've got the 1 Adengeres. We've got the 1, sorry, not 1. We've got 2 Invoked Macabre, 1 Invoked Purgatrio, 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, 1 Artemis, the Magister's Moon Maiden, BLS, Soldier of Chaos, IP Masquerina, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, Link Spider, Verte Anaconda, Relinquish Animar, Samurai Almirage, and of course the Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Right, the first thing I've noticed is your extra is so free. So one thing I would 100% add in right now, purely because of the meta and the way the game is going, is I would definitely add in an Invoked Raijin. Purely because it now allows you to play under Bird Up. Because, you can use the Golden Lord effect to get rid of their barrier statue. But why do that when you could just go normal summon Alistair? Alistair uses effect. Heck, you could even put Instant Fusion in if you want to, but obviously it's going to be rare that you're going to get that. I like the TT. The TT is an interesting kind of tech. But I just feel that by putting in the Invoked Raijin, what you can do is you can Alistair summon out Raijin, Book a Moon, the barrier statue, and then just go ham. And the best thing about that is it makes it harder for them to protect with the Tri-Brigade spell. I also quite like DD Crow. I think that puts in a lot of work when you do that. Your extra deck is flex space, so to be totally honest, you can take out whatever you want from there, link monster wise, and be absolutely fine. I mean, looking at this now, I'm not too sure why. I could be wrong. Obviously, Alistair into Almirage. I see. This is something that I'm not a fan of. is I'm particularly not a fan of playing both of these. So I'd only play the Moon Maiden if you don't want another card in the graveyard, which is perfectly fine, because you just go straight into Moon Maiden. Whereas I still quite like the idea, especially when you've got flex spots in the extra deck, to go Alistair Almirage into Secure Gardener, because then Secure Gardener also gives you additional 1,000 attack if you keep it on the board, plus it's got the burn protection, and then on top of that you put an Almirage in the graveyard setting up your Purgatrio. Now 9 times out of 10, of course, you should be fine with your Purgatrio because you're going to have Ash Blossoms and galore. But yeah, I would definitely consider Raijin. The skill drain to me is very interesting. I get how it works really well with the Eldlich, so I've got no issues with that whatsoever. My only concern is how it then affects your Dragoon, how it then affects all of your Invoke stuff. Now, obviously, I know there's no guarantee you're going to end up having both in play. The Draw and Lock Bird I understand as well. That will be down to local specific. So I don't really need to go over that one too much. The rest of it looks pretty staple and standard to me. I would honestly, if you've got Pot of Prosperities, that's probably where you would take out the Souls and Apprentice engine. But even then, I actually really like the Souls engine in this deck, because you send the traps that you no longer want, or you send the traps that help you extend your plays. And it also lets you send spare Meltdowns, spare Terraformings, and stuff like that. And of course, I can't really send Skill Drain unless it's face down, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. What I would tech in, and I mean, again, Apprentice is a nice free discard and summon, so I get that as well. But another card you could possibly tech in is Oracle Mana. Now, the only reason I would say Oracle Mana, if I can spell, is on the pure fact that Imperm is now coming back into the format, coming back into the fold. And what Oracle Mana will do is 9 times out of 10, what you're doing with Magician Souls is you're going to send Apprentice, right? That's it. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. So at least with this one, what you do is you send your Oracle Mana to the graveyard. And then by doing so, what it means is if your opponent Imperms or Veilers your Souls or your Alistair or anything like that, you get to bring back the Oracle Mana as a free extender. And then instantly that gives you direct access to go into your Link monsters, to go into Link 2s, to do whatever you need. Just a little tech. It's not as good as if you open it, it sucks, because it's not going to be a free summon like Apprentice. But if you don't, then you've got really nice kind of just graveyard protection fodder and deters your opponent. So again, just another little tech that you could consider putting in and kind of playing around with. Other than that, I think, again, Torrential Tribute clears board, which is fine. I don't think there's anything else to really comment on. I think overall it's generally quite a nice list, quite a good list. And yeah, as long as you've got these cards physically, you're going to be fine, because Eldland is like 40 quid for a super, and everything else is like relatively dirt cheap. I would like to build an Eldlich deck like as a pure control deck, but I just couldn't hold on to the cards. I was like, I had 2 lots. Less so the Golden Lords, but I ended up... I think I ended up having Golden Lords as well. I think I had 2 original prints, and I just had to sell them. They were just too much money. But yeah, you actually it's so free, so if you've got Pot of Prosperities, you can put them in. But if not, it comes down to personal preference on that. I like your choice of the Red Eyes art, the one that we're missing. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope that's kind of giving you a bit of a lowdown on that one for you, Kevin. Didn't really need to make many changes, just a couple of suggestions on Invoked, Raijin, and Oracle Mana, to be honest. So now let's go and check out another meta deck, and this will be, well, I say meta deck, rogue deck. This is Adam's Invoked Doll. Now, he's already told me he doesn't have a third Nadir, but my concern is that he's only got 1 Ecclesia. So that's interesting. Keep in mind as well, these are the first times I'm seeing these lists. Like, I haven't pre-looked at the list, so everything I'm seeing is all going to be natural kind of, first reactions. So we got triple Alistair, nice. Triple Wendy, yeah, double Squamata, single Aerial, single Beast, 1 Hedgehog, 1 Dragon, 1 Ecclesia, triple Nibiru, triple Gamma, and a single Driver. And then obviously triple Meltdown, double Invocation, triple Shadow Fusion, double El Shadow Fusion, triple Super Poly, double Nadir Servant, 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Resh, 1 Schism, 1 Punishment. Fine. Side deck, as you can see, Lancia is making its comeback right now. It's like Lancia is so strong. It's absolutely crazy. Like I played it at locals last night, and literally, I was playing dinos, and I regret it so bad. I ended up getting third, so it wasn't the end of the world. But like literally, every one of my games was like Lancia, standby phase, Lancia. I was like, oh, cool, thanks. So Lancia, Pranktops, interesting. Second aerial, triple Cosmic Cyclone, yep. Harpy's Feather Duster. Triple Dark Ruler no more. Why everyone's going back to Dark Ruler? That's interesting. And triple Evenly Matched, with the extra deck being, of course, Gravity Controller, Artemis the Moon Maiden, Vert Anaconda. And then, of course, it's nice to see Vert Anaconda and not see a Dragoon next to it. Double Construct, double Winder, double Apkaline, double Macabre, one Ugedes. There you go, there's a Raijin. Oh, and he's also playing Kaliga. Nice. And the one or however you want to pronounce it. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. The Dogmatica engine to me almost seems inconsequential, in the sense that like I get the route you're playing. You're going Nadir, send probably Apkaline. Apkaline can search you out. Schism, or of course Resh, or any of the cards you really need, and then get your Ecclesia, and then as you're finishing everything up, you'll special summon off your Ecclesia and you're getting your punishment. So that's fine, but I honestly think you could have a Philidius in here. I just think a Philidius gives you another option. It gives you another monster on board, because what you don't want to do is, if your opponent, for example, was to be able to stop your board or clear your board, and you've activated punishment, the rest of your deck falters because you can't then do anything. So if your board gets cleared, you can't Super Poly, you can't make a Shadoll monster, you can't make an Alistair. Now, obviously with Philidius, if that did happen, you could special summon down Philidius and still have a 2500 beta on board to kind of keep you going. It's very interesting. It's very direct. I like the Super Poly touches. I don't know if there's space for generic Super Poly targets. I mean, I suppose there could be. I don't know what you would put in. I mean, Starving Venom's a great one right now because of the Dragon Link. PK is a rogue deck. You play a lot of Darks as well. So that's something interesting. I think Fallen of Albaz is a funny little tech as well. How do you get past Goon? I suppose Super Poly Goon into a window. Beautiful. Oh, that's the days. There's an awful lot of not ritual spells, fusion spells. I think triple super is too much. I could be wrong again. It would be interesting to know how many times you've opened up Invocation, Shadoll Fusion, El Shadoll Fusion, Super Poly, and then like in a Dear Servant, like just those 5 cards. Like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be normal summoning my Ecclesia. It's very rare, but if it did, it would be quite funny. Nibiru is an interesting one, so I'm assuming that you're aiming to go second. So even then, see, this is where I'm not confused, but like, so Nibiru to me says you want to go second, but then your punishment says you want to go first. And I mean, I'd like to think with the extra deck that you have, especially with the Urgedes, and then obviously Apkaline, Winders, and Constructs, that you'd be going for the kill straight away. If you've Nibiru'd them, you'd go for the kill, because then you just go, all right, Nibiru itself can probably get rid of the token, and if you can't, then you've got Construct to get rid of the token. But then you can go Adengeres. You're probably going to loop some of your Shadoll Fusion monsters like with ease. So then Adengeres comes onto the board. So all you need is your normal summon of Alistair, and then you're happy sailing, because then you just start putting everything. Adengeres pops the token himself, can become like a 4800 beta, and you've already got 3k with Nibiru on top. So, I mean, I suppose that's where Dark Ruler comes in, and Droplet if you have it. I just feel that, I mean, the Nadir 7s are nice because it helps like turbo these out by sending Apkaline as well. But I think maybe you could easily either drop the Nibirus for like Ash Blossoms. I don't even think Gamma's that great right now either. I mean, still very, very good hand traps. Don't get me wrong, but I think Ash is just more generic. But again, I think this section here comes down to your locals in the sense of what you're going to be facing, who you're going to be facing, and what they're going to be playing. I think this Shaddolls lineup is pretty standard. Just works, does its job. The second area in the side's interesting. I mean, again, I get it. Space-wise, I'm not too sure. Same with Prankatops. I'm not, like... This is one thing that bugs me about Call by the Grave is... I'm not a fan right now of relying on one-offs to help you in a specific situation. Now, what I mean by that is... Call by the Grave is an amazingly good card. But you can't really build a strategy on... If I get hand-trapped, I lose the game. So I need to see my Call by the Grave. Now, this isn't obviously something directly at Adam. This is something that I've also, like, it's just a personal thing that I struggle with at the moment, in the sense that it's like, oh, cool. I have to have my Call by the Grave if someone tries to ash me. And it's like, yeah, cool. But what if you don't have that Call by the Grave when they have the hand trap? Or what happens if you have that Call by the Grave when they don't have a hand trap at all? And it's like, oh, well, then it becomes a dead card. So I think when there's space to be cut and space to be made, I personally don't like playing with the one-offs. Prankatops is a little bit different, but even then, it's because Prankatops... The difference with Prankatops is this requires you to be in a specific situation. Whereas Prankatops, you just set yourself up, like, as long as your opponent controls more monsters. So it's going to be a hell of a lot more consistent. So if you see it, great. You've got a free body on the board. You've got a free pop. Happy days. And then, again, Harpy's Feather Duster is kind of in the same bracket, in my opinion. Especially when so many back row decks right now. When you look at back row decks, you look at Eldlich, you look at Virtual Worlds. They want their stuff in the grave. So, like, I would much rather not have this in my extra deck and have triple Cosmics. Because then I don't really want to go, right, okay, my opponent's playing heavy back row. I'm going to side in triple Cosmic and a heavy Harpy's Feather Duster. Because 9 out of 10, if I like the correct Cosmic on the correct card, wins you the game. Plus, keep in mind with Eldlich as well, their best trap gets stopped with Ash Blossom. And that to me works just as well. But again, other than that, a very strong, complete deck. I don't think there's any text I can really add to say to that. I think the only thing that I would advise, apart from, I know the fact you can't up the Nadir 7s, but possibly add in a Philidius. But then again, I mean, I think Punishment's a great card as well, because Punishment technically becomes a pop 2. The only issue that I see is you can only get up to 28, I believe. Just have a look. Yeah, so you can, if they put a monster of 3k or more on the board, you need to be able to pop a monster of less so with the trap to then get Natis on to the grave to then pop the 3k monster. But it happens, it works. My only concern is, you know, if your board gets stopped or you've got no follow-up play after that, then you're in big trouble. Whereas a non-target Philidius can really put in quite a bit of work as well. So, again, personal preference. I've got no issues either way. I think Punishment's a great one. So, cool. Now, let's look for our final deck list. Now, this one, of course, there we go. So, this is Nick Shen's Dark Magician deck. Now, he sent me in a Synchro deck as well, but I'm not the Synchro master. Not that I'm saying I'm a Dark Magician master either, but Dark Magician. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm always going to be a little bit more overcritical of Dark Magician just because it is Dark Magician. Right, so let's go through the list first, and then I'll talk about changes. I can kind of see the structure of the deck already and where it wants to go. So I'll provide my opinions on if you're going more fun and then if you're going competitive. So if you're going to rock up to one of your locals with this, and you want to do the best you possibly can, then I'll go over some. So, Triple Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Again, nice choice of artwork. Dark Magician Girl. Triple Apprentice. Triple Rod. Cool. Triple Souls. Triple Ash. Dark Magic Attack. Triple Circle. Triple Soul Servant. 1 Eye of Timaeus. Interesting. Double Secrets of Dark Magic. 1 Red Eyes Fusion. 1 Magical Eyes Fusion. 1 Call by the Grave. Double Cosmic Cyclone. Again, very interesting. 1 Magician Navigation. Interesting. 2 Eternal Souls. 2 Solemn Strikes. And triple Crackdown. Sorry, guys. Side deck of double Phantasme, triple Lancia, single Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Super Poly. Okay. Double Gozen Match, nice. Double Judgment, Starving Venom, Mud Dragon. Extra deck of Unicorn, Phoenix, Verte, Link Karibo, Umduct, yay, well done. Umduct over Link Spider for the win. Boral Sword, Red Ice Flare, Ibon Illusion, Ibon High, Dark Cavalry, Dark Dragon Knight, double the Dark Magicians, oof, and double Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Okay, so unless I'm wrong, and if I am, then correct me, but it looks like you've gone for a slightly bit of a budget, and what I mean by that in the sense is that you're not rocking with like access codes. Selene is definitely an interesting one. If you don't have Selene, I highly advise getting it, because at least Selene could then go into Avramax as well. So that gives you a bit of a boss monster. Boral Sword, I get you're going for the OTK, but it's very difficult in a Dark Magician deck to get 4 effect monsters, in a sense, or even 3 with a Link 2, especially when you've got Verte and Phoenix being your Link 2. But we'll touch on the extra deck in a minute. Now, again, I'm not a massive fan of Dark Magician Girl right now. Now, I understand why people put it in here. They put it in here for the Dark Magicians, but my argument still stands, and I will stand behind it every single time. If this card is destroyed, it has to be destroyed. So you can special summon. Now, yes, I get you could technically try and destroy it yourself. But if your opponent can read cards, and I would like to think they would before they do anything, I guarantee you 9 out of 10, this card is never getting destroyed by your opponent. They're going to spin it. Which then means that Dark Magician Girl is a dead card in comparison to an Oracle Mana. And the reason I would go with Oracle Mana over Dark Magician Girl is just because she offers that little bit more. In that sense, and what I mean by that is she offers that deterrent that your opponent won't try and imperm, your opponent won't try and Veiler, your opponent just generally won't want to try and target your Rod on Souls. Because if they target your Rod, they know they're giving you an extender. Now, any player knows in a current format that the second someone gets 2 monsters on the board, the very least they're going to do is go Verte Dragoon, especially in a Dark Magician deck. So they don't want to help instigate your Dragoon plays. It would just be maddening. So that's why I would put Mana above that. The Triple Apprentice, in my opinion, is a little bit too much. Again, 2 maybe. I usually play with 1, but depending on, even if you're going for like friendlies, 3 can just be a little bit too much, especially if you haven't got any rank 6s in the extra deck. Like with this particular lineup, I would probably try and play a rank 6, because at least Souls can summon out Dark Magician Girl, and then you could summon down Apprentice, and then you could make Norito, which would be really cool. You can make Vampire, which actually no, I tell you what, I would put Vampire in this deck. I'll show you who Vampire is. This guy. Because you're even playing Crackdown. So this actually synergizes really well. So, Vampire, I love, if I play a rank 6 version of Dark Magician, I absolutely love it. So if you use a monster or monsters with a level that is owned by your opponent for the XYZ summon, you can treat it as a level 6. So basically, you steal one of your opponent's monsters with Crackdown, you can then use it as a level 6. So all you need to do is put Apprentice or Dark Magician Girl on the board, and you can use it to make Sheridan. On top of that, you get to detach a material from this card, target one card your opponent trials, and send it to the graveyard. And then if a monster card or cards is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to basically mind control it. By a card effect, or a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your opponent's graveyard, you can detach a material and special summon it in defense position. So it just gives you 3 materials. So that would actually help you instigate your Boral Sword play. So I highly advise putting Sheridan in, especially in this particular build. I think he's such a cool card. Like, really, really like this card. It came out in the same set as Sky Strikers, and it came out in the Megatin 2019, I believe. So definitely worth putting in. This is my other card that I love. It doesn't really do a lot now, but just look at that artwork. The Dragulus, the Vampiric Dragon. It's probably one of the most... I love the red moon in the background. I love the purple sky. I love the black tail, the white armor, the red. It just looks so good. So this one's basically a quick effect to Book of Moon, a special summon monster from the extra deck. And then if it, in its owner's control, is sent to the graveyard or banished by your opponent's card effect, you get to bring it back. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, I 100% advise you playing Dampakir, Vampire Sheridan. I think it'd be really cool in this particular version. Let's have a look. Rods, fine. Dark Magic Attack with Cosmic Cyclone, I think, is too much in the main. I wouldn't play Harpy's Feather Duster. I wouldn't bother because you've got a searchable Dark Magic Attack. So I would probably side out the Dark Magic Attack, get rid of the Harpy's Feather Duster, and kind of go from there. I learnt my lesson last night. I ended up playing Dragon Link, which I took these out. It won me a game against Virtual World, but then against like other decks, it just didn't really do a lot. But if you're gonna main it, then yeah, absolutely fine. Single Eye of Timaeus is interesting. I get it. I've got no issues with it. But it's only at 1, so you're not really relying heavily on it. Especially when this is coming off a Verte, this can come off a Verte, and then these two can come off a Rod. I honestly don't think you need it. So if you're looking for space and you're like, right, okay, well, I get what I want to put in, but I don't know what to take out, then I think Eye of Timaeus is another one that you could probably go for. So I'd say 1 Apprentice down, 1 Dark Magic Attack down, and Eye of Timaeus down. Already gone over my feelings on Caught by the Grave. I mean, I've got no issues with people playing it. It's fine. Sometimes I even put it into a deck as well. But I just think if my strategy relies around needing it and having it, then it's not going to work out pretty. Navigation's interesting. I don't see a lot of people playing this anymore. Purely because A, it's a little bit slower. B, if it gets ashed, it sucks. But I do like the idea that because not a lot of people play it, putting this in your graveyard and people forgetting about it gives you that ability to just go banish and negate, and they'll completely forget that it's even a card. Yeah. Eternal Soul 2, fine. Strike 2, fine. And Crackdown, again, if you're in this particular control build, absolutely fine. If you're cutting Eye of Timaeus, for your extra deck straight away, I would cut 1 Dark Magicians. I wouldn't rely heavy on it. I would cut the Dark Cavalry. Purely, I get it. You probably really like Cavalry, but if you're not playing Eye of Timaeus, then you don't need to play it. And it's a little bit slow, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to activate my Eye of Timaeus, I'm going for another Dragoon. Like, I'm going for another Dragoon, or I'm going for a Dark Magicians. Or, because you're playing a control build, I would probably go more for your Dragon Knight. So that's the route I would go. I love the inclusion of the Abon High and the Abon Illusion. Complete respect for that. The rank 6 space can fill in for one of these two. So your Vampire, which is really cool. Link-wise, apart from Selene, there's probably not more. If you have it, I would put Selene in place of Boral Sword, but then I'd also put in the other space that we've cleared up here. I would put in Avramax, just so you've got a Link 4 boss monster that you can make quite easily, because Selene just brings back Dark Magician, trigger Circle to banish, link Dark Magician into Umduct, and then link Umduct and Selene, which usually would go into access code, can go into Avramax. And then you're sitting on this Avramax monster that's going to be near impossible to deal with. And then you're going to be able to back it up each turn with an Eternal Soul into Circle. So it just gives you a little bit more to play around with. Other than that, that is pretty much my review of your Dark Magician deck. A very good job. I have no issues with it. Even if both my kind of comments and reviews are, even if you're taking it competitive or fun. Like if you're like, right, I'm sticking with this deck, I'm not changing it, then I would highly advise just taking out 1 Dark Magician for a Vampire for fun, because I think Vampire would catch so many people off guard. It's beautiful. If you're trying to make it competitive, like I said, I would highly advise taking out the Eye of Timaeus, the 1 Dark Magic Attack, and at the very least, Apprentice Illusion drop down to 2. So that's kind of where I'd stand. Again, if you want to play the rank 6, keep Dark Magician Girl in. If not, bring in your Oracle Mana. I think that's just going to deter players a lot more. Because it's very rare that you'll probably go Souls to summon Dark Magician Girl unless you've got the rank 6 plays on board. So that would be, again, my kind of opinions on those ones. But yeah, that was it. So thank you so much to Nick for his Dark Magician deck, for Adam for his Invoked Doll deck, and where's the last one? This is what happens. And Kevin for his Invoked Eldlich deck. I hope my reviews of your decks have helped. I hope they allow you to kind of adapt, test them out. Let me know how they've gone. Let me know because obviously if they haven't worked for you, let me know a bit more about your locals. Let me know a bit more about the environment you're going to play with, and I'll help you out with that. And if they have helped, then excellent, another satisfied patient of the Deck Doctor. But as you can see, my throat is now starting to go so I'm turning into a very croaky, totally awesome. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, please smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. All the support you provide to this particular type of video allows us, and of course the channel, allows us to keep producing videos like this and keep producing content like this for you guys to enjoy at home. But for now, as absolutely always, guys, as important as ever, stay safe and happy dueling.